Welcome back, guys, to Neo Racing. We are at Spa in the Porsche 911 GT3. TY's coming into the pits on the formation lap. As we go into formation, this is going to be a 45-minute endurance. It's nice and wet at Spa. We're getting ready for a start. Everyone going quite slow, ready for the lights. Waiting for a start. And lights out. Away we go. Good start by everyone. Unfortunately, TY's already been disqualified for coming to the pits on the formation lap, which you didn't know about. As we come into the first corner, everyone looks like they're cleanly through. Very jostling for position in the middle there. Everyone goes through cleanly through last horse though, which is good. As they head down the hill, TY Neil Flapper making a little break for it. Bidster leading a pack of the others down up Eau Rouge. As they come up Eau Rouge now, a little green car. Oh! Jamo's lost the back end. Stevie's gone into him. Team Yellow just exit stage right as everyone else filters through. Oh, so unlucky there for Team Yellow. Just getting. Okay, guys, so here's a replay of the first lap action on board with Stevie. Approaching Eau Rouge, we see Jamo and Keith almost side by side. Jamo folds back in. Then you see the back end of the car just goes. Stevie goes round and bang! Gets hit by Callum Ward, nowhere to go, unfortunately, in that, and then that's what put Stevie right to the back of the grid, and then just tries to get the car recovered round, and just ends up doing a few donuts, and then eventually gets the car recovered. And here's a look at the first lap action now on board with Callum approaching the Eau Rouge corner, and then Jamo loses it, Stevie goes into him, and then Callum, unfortunately, with just nowhere to go, hits Stevie, and then everyone else very, very lucky to avoid that accident. Jay Houston goes through, so does Blakeney there. So good avoiding despite all, unfortunately for Callum. Team Yellow just getting caught up as Neil's up the inside of Flapper here, and he goes through into first place. It says TY's in first, but I can tell you he has been disqualified for the infringement of coming into the pits on the formation lap, unfortunately, so unlucky for TY. So Team Blue one car down already as we go down the hill. Liliam 7th place with RZR Blade right behind him. Let's have a look here. We've got Blakeney with Callum behind him. Jamo and Seek 1's had a spin there as well, I think. He's 13th, and Stevie making a recovery in 15th there. So let's have a look at the leaders now. There's Flying Flapper in what would be second place. Neil's in the lead. As we come around the long left-hander in towards the Piff Paff section. There's Footman going a bit wide. Bidster all over the back of him now, looking for a way through. Doesn't look like there's any gap though as we look a little bit further back. Sorry for the zoomed in cameras again, ladies and gentlemen. It's just the cameras on this game. They haven't quite perfected them yet. In fact, they haven't quite perfected the replays yet, if I'm honest. So Slightly My Studios really do need to get on with that. Because also, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this replay of this race only goes up to lap 13, unfortunately, out of 19. So they definitely need to do something there because it's not saving the full length of the replays. So I will give a brief description on what happened on the last few laps at the end of this video. As we go into the chicane, I think Flapper and Neil are quite close. I wish the cameras wouldn't zoom in that much to get a bit more of a wide angle view. As we go into the chicane, Bidster and Footman still close. We've got to be careful of a little puddle forming on the inside of the chicane because it's very, very wet, and Spa likes to give you a little challenge, shall we say, when it comes to wet weather driving. So Bidster behind Footman still quite close. And here's RZR Blade defending from Jay Houston. Oh, not Jay Houston, sorry, Liliam. Sorry, Jay Houston's up the inside of Liliam though. I'm not sure if he's going to get through there. Don't think he is. He's not close enough. Looking at that shot now. So it's RZR Blade in 6th place. Lilian behind, Jay Houston behind him. As we come up Eau Rouge now. And a little bit of a track limits call there. And I don't know why the camera's suddenly gone to Stevie. But unfortunately the camera's playing up a little bit there, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologise, but it's not me. It's the game. There we go. And then there's Lilian on the straight. He's side by side with RZR Blade. RZR Blade is going to get the move on. And he goes around the outside, Lil. Good wet weather driving there as RZR Blade goes down to 7th place with Jay Houston all over the back of him now. Jay Houston started at the back of this race because he was deemed at fault for the incidents at Long Beach, so he got demoted to the back of the grid, unfortunately. But he's doing well to make a comeback, 8th position already, so he's done almost half the grid already, which is a good sign. And then we've got, let's have a look up here, we've got Flapper and Neil as close as you like for the lead. Very, very close. Coming around this long left-hander, coming down towards the Piff-Paff section. Neil defends, Flying Flapper can't find a way through, and Bidster still can't find a way around Footman. So Footman's doing very well to hold Bidster back here. So Bidster's going well, just trying to and get past Footman. Let's have a little look at this. Oh, and car off in the background. I think that's Lil Yam, I think. Yeah, Lil Yam's spun round, unfortunately. So there he is, spun round, so he must have spun round out of there. So we'll get a replay. Here's a replay of what happened to Lil Yam on the second lap, coming around the fast left-hander, and then there's no one around him, and yeah, just too much on the curb, the car just goes round, and unfortunately that's what happened to Lil Yam. As we go, exit the Piff-Paff section, coming down towards the really fast section of Blanchimont. Super fast corner this, so we'll just stay with Footman for this. Go around this corner, and then a little bit wide, but that's only just because the track's wet. So into the chicane, Neil's not close enough. So Flapper's not close enough to Neil in this one. As unfortunately Seek 1 has retired also from this race. We go across the line. Let's have a little look further, a little bit further back. We've got, oh, and Azadar Blade goes wide. Jay Houston's going through, but Azadar gets a good traction out of the corner. Let's see what happens towards La Source, which is the first corner across the line. And then into the La Source hairpin. Azadar Blade's going to defend, but Jay Houston will be able to cut back and get better drive down the hill. And no, Azadar Blade just says, no, you don't. I'm keeping this place. As you go down towards Eau Rouge. Quite close for wet weather this. As we go into Eau Rouge, let's see if Azadar Blade holds on to it. Yes, he does. And over the curb, and for some reason it keeps going direct to Stevie on that camera. So unfortunately the camera's bugged there, I think. So yeah, Slightly Mad Studios, you really do need to sort your replays out, because it is no fun trying to get these cameras to work. There's Neil Farmack now defending from Flapper. Flapper's having a look left, having a look right, getting the pressure on. Still no way through, and still for Bidster, no way through also on Footman behind. Let's have a little look, and oh, there we are, the camera's at work again. Oh, Azadar Blade's off in the background. Azadar Blade goes off, so Jay Houston goes through. Did he fall, was he pushed? I think it was a fall, he just went on the grass. As we went to that camera there, so let's have a look at the leaders again. Neil Farmack with Flying Flapper right behind him. There they are, Neil Farmack in the blue car, Flapper in the red car. Unfortunately, Neo Stig couldn't make this race this week. So, Flapper's on his own representing Team Red. So, it's also quite close in the championship. So, it's between Neil, TY and Bidster for the championship. And I think TY's, be it with TY getting DQ'd from this race, that's more or less his championship chances over, unfortunately. As we see Bidster now right behind Footman, putting the pressure on, practically pushing him up to Blanchimont. Right behind him. Footman's doing very well to absorb the pressure here. Good driving by Footman. As we go through Blanchimont now. Oh, Footman goes wide. Bidster goes a bit wide, but not as wide as Footman does. As they go into the chicane, Bidster has a little look up the inside, but to no avail. Or is it going to be? No. Goes across. You can see the puddles forming now as the rain's starting to get a bit worse. As he gets good traction out of the corner, Bidster, but I'm not sure if he's going to be on the right side for it. Coming down towards La Source. Into La Source, he's on the outside. He's still on the outside. He's going to try and go around the outside of Footman here. It'd be crazy if he does. I think they're side by side now, coming down towards Eau Rouge. Who's going to give way? Who's going to give way? It's going to be close now. Bidster has to give way to Footman. Footman had the line into the corner there, so Footman keeps third place. Again, the camera changes itself again, so I'll have to just flick through the cameras there. Oh, come on. There we go. So Flying Flapper and Neil, a bit more of a gap between them now. Bidster and Footman. still as close as you like. Bidster's up the inside. He's up the inside, he's having a look. Footman gives him the space. And is he going to go around the outside? Yes, he's still side by side using the grip around the outside and gets the place done. Good driving there by Bidster. Got past Footman and now he's going to be on the move trying to catch Flying Flapper. So Footman did very well there to keep Bidster back for 3 or 4 laps. Bidster, one of the best drivers in this championship to pressurise people. Bidster gets behind you, your mirrors are filled. So Bidster, good job there. Footman, another good job for keeping him back. So let's have a little look down the field and see what we've got happening. We've got Keith here with Jay Hewson behind him now. So Jay Hewson with Keith in his sights. Keith for Team White there. Going round the long left-hander, very hard corner to get right. As we've got another pair close behind, so we'll just have a little peek at them. I think it's Callum and Jamo. They're making a recovery and for Team Yellow. So just to run you through, TY unfortunately retired because he got disqualified for pitting on the formation lap, which we didn't know that would happen. And Seek1 hasn't retired yet, but he's still going round with unfortunately a lap down. So here's Flying Flapper with about 1.7 seconds behind Neil now. So Neil pulling out a little bit of a gap. There's Footman following Bidster. No, he makes a mistake and into the wall. Oh, unlucky for Footman there, but he recovered it very well. He didn't lose too much time. He didn't actually start spinning on the grass, which was very good. So well done to Footman there for good car control. Jay Hewson into 5th place now from the back of the grid. So Jay Hewson really finding a good setup in that Porsche. As we see Keith now under pressure from RZR Blades. Jay Hewson's got past Keith, and now it's RZR Blades' turn to have a go at Keith. But let's see if Keith can keep him back. Keith's no pushover, he's still a fast guy. As we go into last source, good line there from Keith, so he shouldn't have RZR Blade over him too soon. As we see Blakeney back here with Lil Yam at the chicane. So there. Oh, Blakeney go very early on the power there, and he's lost control completely into a complete tank slapper. Too hard on the throttle at the corner, and then just loses the back end. Unlucky there for Blakeney. So Blakeney continues. Bidster now, that's Flapper there. Bidster is now catching Flapper, so he's doing well to close the gap. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, due to the replay problems at the minute with Slightly Mad Studios, the replay only goes up to lap 13, so I do apologise for that, but it's not in my control. That is the replays of Slightly Mad Studios games not being sufficient enough, so they need to sort that out. But luckily after this race, all the races should be at least a maximum distance of 20 minutes as of the next championship, and also the final round next week at Sugo. So they're both going to be the 2 20-minute races, and then the next championships after that, the races shouldn't be longer than 20 minutes anyway. So, which will be good. More sprint racing, more action. Even though we have enjoyed the endurance races, don't get me wrong, the endurance races have been very good and they've provided their own little battles. But I've decided to change the championship round to 20 minutes just to try and combat the replay problem as well. So that shouldn't be a problem from there on out. Neil goes a little bit wide there, but gets away with it as Flapper's still closing up now. So he's still trying to work that gap. Bidster's still on the way to try and catch Flapper, so it's going to be a bit of a long haul for Bidster there. So let's have a little bit further back. We've got Jay Hewson there on the move. His next target's Footman, and you can see him just ahead down the road. So he's doing very well. He finally got to set up the works, and it's good for him to go from the back of the grid to this. So a bit wide there, but you don't really gain any time for doing that because you end up squirming and having to lift off the power going wide. So it's just with the wet conditions, everyone finding it hard. As Footman goes into the pit, so I think Footman's got a fuel problem. Footman's got a fuel problem. He's got not enough fuel in, so Jay Hewson up to 4th place now. So good job for Jay Hewson there. As Footman comes into the pits, this must be for fuel because the tyres will be fine at this stage of the race. So it must have underfueled his car. So he'll be coming in to refuel. But Project Cars again has a very confusing fuel system. So I don't know if Footman's even going to get the right amount of fuel in, because it is a very complicated procedure to try and get fuel in your car in this game. Why they can't just have a menu pop up, I do not know. But Flapper and Neil now, back to the action. Flapper and Neil, close as you like, down the Camel Straight into Licom. And out of Licom, down the hill. Let's see if Flapper can keep that pressure on Neil now. It's close. And Flapper will not be able to see very well with all the spray in his face from Neil Farmack's car. They go down this left-hander here. It goes downhill, so very, very crucial to get a good exit out of this corner. And now coming down towards this long left-hander. Very long left-hander. The Formula 1 cars can literally just lift and turn in. But obviously with it being wet and the fact that we're in a Porsche, it's a completely different story. It's a very fine balance. There's Flapper now all over the back of him. Having a little look to the left just to keep the pressure on Neil, just to make sure his headlights are visible in his mirrors. As we go round the Piff Paff section. Beautiful section of racetrack this. As we go out, and Neil runs a bit wide there. Got to be careful not to run too wide, otherwise the white line and the curbs will not be a friend, shall we say? As they go exit the Piff Paff now down on the back straight. Oh no! Neil runs very wide there. Flapper could close up here. Flapper could close up, and I know it says the second and third again, that's a bug in the timing system. I do apologise for all these bugs, ladies and gentlemen, but this is the game, not me. As we go, oh, Neil runs very wide there. Oh, very, very wide. As they go onto the brakes into the chicane. I think he gained a bit of an advantage there, but he should. Oh, he's run wide anyway. So that cuts out all that. So Neil runs a bit wide and gets the traction out the corner. So unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, now Footman has retired from the race. Unfortunately. As Neil gets a bit squirmy, and the reason why Footman's retired is because he couldn't get fuel in his car because of how complicated it is on this game. So Footman, unfortunately, another retirement. So unlucky there for Footman as the camera just bugs back to Stevie again. As we now pull back to Nick. No, I want Neil. No. And there's Jay Hewson. There we go. Now the camera works. There's Neil Farmack into the braking zone. Good clean line through there, followed by Flapper. Bidster closing up. So he's on the move, Bidster. Just set personal best of the race as well, so good race in there from him. We can see how much he's trying. The car's squirming out the corner. Here's the other Team Orange car. I know it's a blue car, but there wasn't really an orange option, so we got the one with the orange fin and splitter and the side and the mirrors. So we've got at least there's a bit of orange on the car. As we have a look now at Callum in a very, very battered Porsche. He's not had the best of races, Callum, but still getting used to project cars too. Driving wise, he's still getting used to it and just runs a bit wide there, but I'm sure he'll be fine in time. It's a very hard game to master on the controller as well. If you've got a steering wheel, it's not really much of an issue. It's a very, very immersive experience, and the gameplay is very good. They just need to sort out the other elements of the game. So Jamo following him there. As we have a look now back at the leaders, we've got Flapper still under half a second in it. In fact, I don't think there's even half a second in it. You could probably call that a tenth. So if you go out of the Piff Paff section onto the back straight, not really a straight, but it's flat, so we'll count it as a straight. As we go through up to the Blanchimont section, this next corner is Blanchimont, a very, very, very hard corner. I know, and just got to lift, feed the car in. They both run a bit wide, but no issues there as such. As we go into the bus stop chicane, very good indeed from driving from. Oh, where's Neil gone? Neil's gone wide. He's outbraked himself. No, Neil outbrakes himself. Flapper says, "Thank you very much, sunshine. I'll take that place." And Neil falls back down to second place now. So just shows you one little mistake is all it takes. And Bidster now on the same straight as these boys. You can see him. So Bidster's closing up, and so is Jay Houston in the background. Actually, he's just coming over the line. There he is, just coming over the line. So this should develop to be quite a close race. Again, the replay ends on lap 13, so I'll describe for you what happened in the last end of the race when it gets to that stage. As we look at Flapper going up Eau Rouge, followed by Neil Farmack, followed by Bidster, sideways as ever. And then the camera defaults to Stevie again. And there's Jamo. And Jamo and Callum very close. Callum's been in the wall again, I think. He's lost his rear wing now. But luckily it's only visual damage in our championship, just to keep the cars competitive and close, just to give you a chance of recovering. As Callum throws the car in practically sideways, and his rear wing just appeared there. That's a weird little glitch. But yeah, his rear wing just appeared, and now the side-by-side going down towards Eau Rouge. Who's going to be the brave one coming down? And I think, yeah, Callum has to give in to Jamo. He just had a little bit more pace and traction out the previous corner, and then up Eau Rouge we go. Jamo doesn't spin it this time and cause chaos. As we look, as now the camera defaults back to Stevie, unfortunately. So there we go. Nothing against Stevie, it's just the fact that the camera's defaulting to him all the time when he's actually a retiree from this race, I think. So, yeah, oh no, Stevie is going round still, so beg your pardon. Stevie is going, his car is still going round. So Footman, there is a retirement, unfortunately, with not being able to refuel his car because of the complexity of the game. Seek 1, another retirement due to just accidents and not being able to drive the car. Unfortunately, just really struggling with the car setup, so I'm looking for Seek 1. And TY with that disqualification on the first lap for pitting under the formation lap, which I think is a load of rubbish. He shouldn't have got disqualified for that. But, oh well, that's what the game wants us to do. As Bidster now closing up on the back of Neil. He's worked hard to get this gap down. He's really pushing on. There he is, pushing on. So Flapper's got a 2-second advantage over Neil now. Let's have a look. There he is, and they should see Neil just come through shot. There he is. So just about a 2-second gap between these two now. And then Bidster's closed up on the back of Neil. So Neil's mirrors in the next lap or so is going to be full of that blue and orange car behind him. As they go into the chicane. Oh, Neil wide again. Doesn't like that bus stop chicane. He's on the big puddle on the inside. You see the car aquaplaning over that puddle. That's one thing that Project Cars 2 does get right, is the actual physics and gameplay, the actual drivability of the car. You just need to sort out some of the physics and the replays. So Bidster makes a little look and just puts the pressure on. Now he's going to try and cut back to the inside and get a good line out. But Neil covers him off, saying, I know your trick, sunshine. You're not getting away with that too easy. As Bidster now practically pushing Neil down the hill in the draft. We'll not be able to see a thing through up Eau Rouge, so just have to follow the back of that blue car in front of him to see where he's going. And I think Neil just runs a bit over the curb there as the camera defaults back to Stevie again. I'm sorry folks, I'm trying to get the camera to work again. Come on, I want Neil and Bidster. Give me the camera I want. There we go. As coming down towards Lecombe, Neil still keeping Bidster back, doing a good job so far to keep him back as they go through Lecombe, out of Lecombe, down towards the little hairpin at the bottom of the hill. And Bidster just looking a little bit left and right, filling Neil's mirrors, keeping that pressure on. Coming out of the hairpin, down towards his 90-degree left-hander, downhill, bit of adverse camber. Got to be really careful on throttle out of this corner. The back end can step out, but both take it beautifully through that corner. As we go through, down towards the long left-hander here. Again, almost flat for the F1 cars. Not exactly what you can call flat in a Porsche 911, but doing very well. And it's a bit wide there, a bit squirmy. I think just got a bit of turbulent air there off Neil's car, so unfortunately just ran a bit wide there, but still keeping with him. The gap's extending to Flapper now. Flapper's pulled it out to 3 seconds, so he's pulled the gap out by a good half a second to a second there. So it's a good job to pull the gap out. As we're still watching Bidster and Neil go round up through the exit of the Piff Path down the back straight. Let's have a look a bit further back. Here's when the camera corrects itself. There we go. Oh no, there we are. There's Keith in 5th place, followed by RZR Blade in the background in the green car. So good showing here by Keith, showing his good wet weather skills. A good consistent pace and not many mistakes is what is the key to a good race in the wet. So very good driving and pace there from Keith. As we go back to the Bidster Neil battle. Don't know why the camera zooms in that much. There we go. Right on the back of Neil now, so Neil must have gone a little bit wider into the chicane again. So Bidster all over the back of him onto lap 10. So 3 laps left in the footage of this race, and then I'll explain to you the rest at the end. As we go out of La Source down the hill towards Eau Rouge, past the GT pits. The 24-hour Le Mans pits, the extended pit lane. It was the old pit lane back in the day, but they moved it round the corner when they had the historic Spa. They moved it back round the corner. As again, the camera just goes to Stevie, so apologies, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just have a brief look at RZR Blade going through La Source. Nice little line there. And now we go back to Neil and Bidster. So Bidster again applying the pressure to Neil. Neil goes a little bit wide on exit there, but I don't think that's going to harm him too much as they exit the Lecon section. Down the hill towards the hairpin. So good driving by these two, still keeping the pressure on. Not much else happening in this race, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. The other cars are still quite strung out at the minute. So let's have a look back at RZR Blade. Let's see if he's made any progress into Keith. A little bit, yes, he's made a little bit more progress towards Keith now. So Keith will be watching his mirrors in another lap or two, I would imagine, if RZR Blade can keep up this pace. As we still look back at Bidster and Neil, the battle of the race so far. It was Flapper and Neil at the start. Neil just made one little error at the bus stop chicane, and then the wet track, he aquaplaned on the edge of the track where there's a big massive puddle where the water settles, and then aquaplaning the car. Basically that means that the car can't find no grip, the tyres can't find no grip, and the car is basically like skating on ice. And he unfortunately ran wide and lost a lot of time, and Bidster had worked his way up to try and catch Neil, and then obviously that little mistake helped, and now he's right on the back of him, and he has been for the last 3 or 4 laps, keeping that pressure on, just seeing to try and push Neil into a mistake, because they both run a bit wide there, and Bidster gets a bit more squirmy but keeps the car under control. As we now go into the bus stop chicane where Neil lost it, but he gets it right that time. He's learned. So no, Bidster can't really close up that time, even though Neil does get a bit of a wheel spin out the corner and just loses the back end briefly, but recovers it into La Source. A lot of races have been won and lost at La Source in all kinds of formula of racing. As Neil's run wide, Bidster goes through. So Neil's ran wide there over the curb, Bidster goes through, so good move there by Bidster. I think it was helped by Neil running wide, but still, Neil goes back down to 3rd position now. Bidster on the move to try and catch Flapper. Trying to get the camera to change again, ladies and gentlemen. We'll watch Jay Houston go up Eau Rouge, and then we'll go back to the... Oh, no, it won't, because the camera... There we go. So, unfortunately, that other camera not working very well. As Bidster in 2nd place now. Next target, Flapper. So there's Neil. Unfortunately, has lost a place to Bidster there. And here's Jay Houston still on it. He's only 3.5 seconds behind Neil now, an average of 3.5 to 3.8 seconds behind. So he's on the move, he's catching, he's got good consistent pace. So good to see Jay Houston back on the pace after the dreadful meeting at Long Beach. So done a good recovery, and he had to start from the back, so again another good recovery there. So good driving there from Jay Houston. Let's have a little look at RZR Blade and Keith. Still more or less the same gap, so Keith's doing a good job just to keep the gap the same to RZR Blade, and RZR Blade still doing a good job of trying to catch Keith in front of him. So good little battle between these two here. Keith runs a bit wide, just trying to get a bit more of a wet line. RZR Blade's right over the back of him now, so clearly the inside does still work. So that's a battle to keep an eye on. As we go back, there's Bidster trying to catch this man. Flying Flapper in the red car, in control of this race. Consistent and fast, doing a good job. And there's Bidster 2nd place, catching him. Neil back down to 3rd. And then here we go, Jay Houston. Oh, Jay Houston's lost the back end. No, all that hard work thrown away. Just lost the back end, and he recovers. So unlucky there for Jay Houston. But it should be back up on them at some point, because he's got good pace in that car. As there's Keith with RZR Blade all over the back of him. And Hazard Blade having a little look there. Right behind him now, looking left, looking right. Close as anything. Going through Blanchimont now. Got to be very careful through here, boys. Don't lose it. Oh, so close behind him. Might have a little look into the bus stop. We have a look. Keith defends the inside, saying, no, you don't, sunshine, you're going around the long way. So Hazard Blade says, okay, I will. But then gets stuck on that puddle there. And Keith, very wise driving there to force Hazard Blade to the outside. So that just shows you the experience of Keith. He might not be the fastest person on track, but he definitely knows what he's doing. Through Lassos. A little bit of a twitch there on power, just to try and stop the wheel spin. Coming down towards Eau Rouge. As we have a little look now at Bidster trying to catch up to... Oh, Bidster's lost the back end! Bidster's lost the back end, goes round, and Neil's going to come round in a minute. And oh, just recovers the car and just avoids Neil there. But nothing he can do about that because of the wet grass. But again, Neil says thank you very much, I'll take that, and goes through to second place. Bidster down to third, so let's see if Bidster can keep up that good pace and catch him back up. Meanwhile, let's have a little look back at Keith and RZR. So Keith there through, so RZR just dropped back a little bit. No biggie, so going through the hairpin at the bottom of the hill. Let's have a little look further down the order. So there's Jamo, should be around here somewhere. There he is. Jamo 7th place after that spin at Eau Rouge on the first lap, causing him and his teammate to go off. So not the best race for Jamo, but a good job to recover to 7th place. Blakeney in 9th. Callum in... so Blakeney in 8th. Callum in 9th. Followed by Lillian behind him in 10th place, looking for a bit more vengeance. Stevie still soldiering on in a very aerodynamically challenged 911. And then, unfortunately, like I said earlier, off our retirees, Footman, Seek1 and TY. So TY, that puts TY at the championship, more or less. Unless you can come up with an absolute miracle with Neil and Bidster not finishing at the next round. As they come out the chicane, Bidster very sideways at the chicane there. Very sideways indeed. But keeps the car under control. As they go out of Lassos, so this will be the last lap of footage, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, before the replay says enough. Coming down towards Eau Rouge. And the camera just alters itself again, so we'll just have a quick look at Flapper. There he is in the lead, doing a very good job. In the lead, nice and consistent. Bidster's up the inside of Neil. Oh, just having a little peek there as he goes through Lecom. I thought there were going to be contact there and he weren't going to stop the car, but luckily he did. So good job there by both of them two. Good racing. It's always a good battle when Bidster and Neil get together. You can always count on them two for a bit of action. As we go out of the left-hander down towards this fast left-hander down the hill. Superb corner, this one. As they go around the corner and Bidster right on his tail now. Super close, and unfortunately the replay is going to end in a minute, so unfortunately we'll not be able to see the rest of this battle throughout the race. And it was a glorious battle at that. There's a little look left and right. And then out of the pith path. And unfortunately, that's we've got 10 seconds left in this replay, and nothing else is going to happen, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen. So I will have to pause the replay there. Unfortunately, I'm so sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, but again, the Project Cars 2 replay did not save properly, but I can now give you a little brief running of what did happen. So we had a nice battle between Bidster and Neil that went on all the way almost to the end of the race. Very close between them two. Bidster a couple of mistakes, Neil a couple of mistakes. But then, on the exit of the Piff Path, on the last lap, on the second to last lap of the race, Flying Flapper spins round and just throws away the lead as Bidster who won the battle with Neil, goes through and then takes the win. So good win for Bidster. It was a good race, and so unlucky for Flying Flapper, who then eventually came through in second place. And then we had Jake Hewson, who got third, because Neil Farmack unfortunately had another spin near the end of the race. So Neil Farmack was fourth, and then so that was your top four. And so unfortunately for Flying Flapper, didn't do Neil Stig any favours in the team championship for Team Red. He just spun it round. Very unlucky there for Flying Flapper, and Bidster goes through and takes the win. So we'll see you guys next time at Sugo. Take care, guys.